majority of this team has been in FTC for 3 years, so this is just like some of the tips and tricks that we're going to show today. The basics, one of the most important things is to start planning early and set deadlines. Because if you don't set deadlines, let's say you take 3 weeks to start building a robot and you're supposed to be done in 2, then that sets off the programmers, which sets off how much drive time you have. So it's really important to make sure that you're on task, so that way everyone else can be on task. Divide your team up. This year we divided our team up. Everybody picked 2 technical skills and 2 soft skills. And we just picked what we wanted, so now everybody has a certain task that they're going to do. And going along with that, everybody has different strengths and weaknesses, and that doesn't necessarily mean not to do something that you're not good at. Just put more energy into what you're good at, because we're focusing on what's best for the team, not just what you want to do. And remember the core values: always be gracious professionals at meets, be friendly with the other teams, and have fun.
Building. So before you start building your robot, you should design what you want to do. Either draw it out, CAD it out, or make it out of cardboard or easy numbers, just so you see how you want everything to lay out. That way when you're not building, you realize something isn't quite right what you wanted, and it's harder to go back and redo it. You also want to split your build up. You can have different members of your team working on different attachments, and then you can all come together at the end to make sure everything fits together. And when you do finally build, you want to make sure everything is square, because if one part of your robot is off from the beginning of your base, as you add on and you realize those problems later on, it's a lot harder to go back and see how you can fix your problems, or they're harder to get to. You also want to use the right tools for your job. Get the right screwdriver, the right wrench. It'll make everything go a lot faster and easier on yourselves and the rest of your team, so you're not as aggravated with each other. You also, you shouldn't be afraid to try something new. Go out, research other teams, what they're doing, or in past years. And if you want to incorporate that idea in your robot, that's fine. And if you think that, just because what you have, you're not required to stay with that idea and stick it out. You can always change for the better. Nylon locks versus cut nuts. The cut nuts come with the Tetrix kit. We recommend that you switch to nylon lock nuts. Those don't slip in place when you tighten them. You don't want them to undo a screw in the middle of your meat, and then all of a sudden screws are on the ground. And then set screws, make sure they're tight. Those hold the motor on the axles, and you want to make sure that the wheels and everything stay together. If you can stay away from them, that's great. But if you can't, make sure you're routinely tightening up, as they have a habit of loosening themselves up. We use Vibrotite to make sure our screws are set together instead of Loctite. And Vibrotite can be taken apart if we need to, because we keep changing things. And then try to leave as much time as you can for troubleshooting, because the programmers and dread team want time to practice.
Programming. So for programming, we're using the JavaScript, and when you're naming your programs or naming your motors, your servos, make sure you have what you want those motors to be, and make sure you have a standard format for everyone on the programming team, so when you combine programs, you don't have to go and change the names of the motors. So either you can use hump case or dash phrase, and then when naming your programs, don't make it like someone can't understand it, because in the past I've named my programs like Puppy Shark, and no one knew what it was about. And so I had to rename them. The program is very case sensitive, so most of the errors that you're going to find is going to be capitalization, spelling errors, or just syntax. For the builders, give plenty of time for the programs to troubleshoot, and then make troubleshooting programs so it's easier to run the motors in your final program. And then comments are very important for other programmers to understand what you're talking about in your program, because not everyone can follow what you're trying to program. So comments help you as well when you're continuing that program after stopping. Programming is really easy to look up, and programs for this certain Android Studios is easy because it's been out for a year, so there's tons of tutorials that you can find. And then sample code is also really helpful, because a lot of the time you don't really understand what you want it to do, and then having sample code just helping you through that is really helpful. Make sure you have like a OneDrive or a Google save your programs to those so every programmer can access them when you're gone or so you can easily access them. And then having a thumb drive is super helpful because during competitions you don't always have Wi-Fi, and a lot of the times you need Wi-Fi to get those programs. So having a thumb drive just to help you open those programs helps a lot, and then know your basics because. And then we recommend using flowcharts before you do program, or use pseudocode too. Pseudocode is basically just the English form of what you want your program to do. So I want to move the motors to this ball and that. And then using the pseudocode to make a flowchart helps with basically understanding where you want in your program to program this function. And we use post-it notes on a wall to map out our flowcharts. It makes it a lot easier, so if you find a mistake, you can just move that post-it note somewhere or just immediately erase it. A lot of people use it online, such as these, and then there's different shapes that you can use for flowcharts to do a while statement, an if statement, or even just a function. And then it makes it easier for troubleshooting and just understanding a program.
These are some charts that our team has found useful throughout their seasons. The first one is the motor control chart, and it has the port, the phone name, and the program name. And you want to make sure that the program name matches what the motor is doing so you don't get confused. The second chart is similar to the motor chart except it's for sensors. And then the third chart is the charging chart, and that shows when the phones and batteries are put on and off the charger, so you don't accidentally put a dead battery or dead phone on the robot. And then it's helpful if you put these charts on like giant sheets of paper and tape them on the wall so that your team can easily access them when building and programming.
So the notebook is really important for any award in FTC, and having a great notebook helps a lot. And make sure everyone contributes in your notebook. So you're not doing everything that everyone else is doing. So if you write for everyone else, you're going to miss a lot of information that they did and understanding why. And that's what we did for our first year, which was pretty bad. So we have nothing in here because no one knew what we were doing. And so for our second notebook, we actually improved because we have everything that everyone wrote and why we did it, and explained what we did, why we did it, what was the reason and how we did it. And then record your notes, such as what you're planning to do for your robot, and that can always change through the season. So just having records of what you were planning to do and how you changed that helps. We have napkins in this one because we didn't have paper when we were writing down stuff. So we just taped those in, and those help the judges find out what your thought process was through, and then comments help, and then record your outreach hours as well. And we have a separate notebook for our outreach stuff. We used a binder last year to do our outreach and stuff. It helps with the organization of it.
Rules. You have to know them in order to play the game. Everyone in your team should know the basics of the rules, including the point values and penalties. Everyone should know what's happening, so that way they know their goal on what they want to happen. And then when you do trials, you understand how many points you should be earning. And then also when you go to a match and a meet, you see, okay, you can tally up your points, and then if the refs disagree with you or you see that it was off, you can go back and ask in the question box, where you can ask questions to the ref for clarifications on how they scored. We recommend that you have a team lawyer on your team. This person is in charge of routinely checking the FTC forms for any clarifications. They know the rules, they've read through all of them, both part 1 and part 2 of the manual, and they continually keep up with that. We recommend that they also be your drive coach on your drive team, because they see how everything's working, and they can help your drivers to see, hey, you should do this or shouldn't go here, depending on penalties, so you don't earn them or accumulate them for the other team. And then make sure you're checking the tournament, because before each tournament, they'll go over the rules for that and clarify some rules that have always, there's always a couple that are a different compared to different judges on their interpretations of them, and make sure that you're up to date on those.
Before competition day, you must make sure you get plenty of sleep so you're not tired during the day of competition. And also, you want to make sure you shower and use good hygiene. That's very important. And also, make sure to transport the robot safely. You may have to go up or down stairs, so be prepared for that. You want to make packing lists for your robot, for the presentation, pretty much everything that you need to pack for the competition. And make checklists for the actual competition themselves, and make sure you use the checklists. And do not forget to charge anything that requires power. Have your designated drivers and coaches picked out before the actual competition day so they can practice. And the day of the competition, you want to make sure you're dressed comfortably because you're probably going to be there for a while, so you don't want to be uncomfortable. And bring your safety glasses and make sure you wear them in the pit. That's very important. And you want to fill out your inspection sheets before arriving at the competition. That'll help a lot. And take lead in front of activities. Make the competition fun. Be unique and show your personality, but you also want to make sure you're professional at the same time. And as she said, your drive coach should be a team lawyer. And throughout the competition, have fun, but make sure you focus on the task you're doing.
So this is some useful information websites that we found. One useful book is the FTC Robotics Tips, Tricks, Strategies, and Secrets book. And you can always check Amazon before you check other sites because it can be cheaper for the parts you're looking for. Andy Mark-Nevers motors have a longer stall time than Tetrix motors, which is worth the money. And don't feel restricted to just Tetrix parts. There's local shops that you can look for your parts and places in your area. Activotics is an alternative to Tetrix, and they have a 25% off FTC discount, and they are a bearing-based system. And then for extruded aluminum, 80/20 has a 40% discount for FTC teams, but you must go through the Neff Powers in the city for the discount. And for mentioning FTC discount for smaller than 80/20 pieces, you can go to Lucis. Feel free to contact us with our email robotics@gmail.com and find us on social media. Any questions? Yeah.
Do the buy have to be a certain size? Do the buy have to be a certain size?
The bot has to be from, it's an 18 by 18 square.
Yes.
Or cube.
To start, right?
To start, but then you can once the game starts, you can be as tall as or
And you can only go to 20 inches for this year's game until the end. So watch out for those.
Just an interesting point on that, last year when I was cheering kids at Worlds, there was one team that had a robot that was 19.5 inches long, but it was only about 6 or 8 inches wide, so we just put it in the cube diagonally. So it just has to fit inside that 18 by 18 cube. Your robot can actually be 19 inches long if it fits diagonally. That was a unique interpretation.
And it's very helpful to make your own sizing box at home and make it a little bit smaller than the 18-inch cube, just in case it kind of grows between competitions like ours did last year. It's always good to be able to, instead of someone holding a tape measure, you just sit it on top of it and say, look, it fits, we should be good to go.